Chrysler Turbine. Back in 1963, Chrysler produced 55 of them. 5 were prototypes, all but 2 were copper. This is an original, unrestored automobile. It's one of 2 that's operational, that's known to be operational. There's a suspect or word has been brought to us that there's possibly a third, but we don't have validated physical proof of that. So right now there's 2, us and Mr. J. Leno. And this, like I said, this is kind of the most iconic one because it is original. It's basically the way Chrysler produced it in 1963. And price tag was $40,000 at that time, and about $430,000 would be what it would cost to build this today. I would almost guarantee that you can't build it, not for that, but just equating dollars. I'm going to give you a little bit of a longer version. Some of you are probably familiar and heard or saw the video on Haggerty with Mr. Jay Leno or Jay Leno's Garage, and Jay talks about the catastrophic failure that his regenerator had, and that he reached out to Chrysler and reached out to Williams Automation, and they didn't have a clue how to fix it. So they asked, do you know anybody that might have that we can get our hands on a regenerator? Well, he made a call to Mr. Ted Stahl, the owner of this, and Mr. Stahl agreed to disassemble one of our turbines. And they basically, us, Jay Leno's people, Williams and Chrysler worked together to reinvent the regenerators. The technology required that it not hold heat, and it was a waffle cone, honeycomb design that wouldn't hold heat but move air uniformly, steadily, unlike a turbine blade that holds heat, and when it's wiping or swiping, the back ends vary in temperature. So this runs at, when I fire it up, it's going to be at about 1,000 degrees right now. You're going to feel a little bit of heat, but it's not going to hurt you back there. I am going to have people out here kind of fart a little way until I get it going. 2 reasons. This does not have a conventional transmission. It has a torque flight transmission that's been reworked to basically a singular gear. And there's a small segment in there that has idle. A little short throw that takes you to reverse, and a short throw that takes you to drive, all in like a joystick design. That idle is the most important thing when you're operating this automobile that you cannot have, and you have to be conscious of it. So I'm going to go from Clark Kent to Superman here. I'm going to get real serious when I get in there, because I've got to be dialed in with what the car is telling me, what the gauges are telling me. It's going to peg right away to 1,000 degrees, I guarantee it. Within seconds, probably 1,200. I will I'll take it up to about 1350 or maybe 14, depending on what it's telling me. If it gets to 1600, it's off. 1800, we're not even going to be talking about it because we'll have catastrophic failure. And that's basically what happened to Mr. Leno. His reached that 1800 critical point. The regenerators self-imploded. They were not even identifiable, so that Williams and Chrysler couldn't reproduce them. And that's, if you heard the story, what I said earlier. They reached out to us. It was a great experience because, one, that failure for Mr. Leno really put these cars on the map. And there's a lot of Mopar people and Chrysler people that have never heard of it. Lifelong people, you know, because it was such a secretive program. And here's what the program was. They built 55 of them. 5 of them were prototypes. 50 were loaned to people through a lottery system to accumulate 1 million miles on a turbine engine. They really never intended to put them in public use. They had a goal of 20 miles per gallon. It came in at about a little over 12. So it didn't meet that. But the auto companies, they have about a 5 to 10 year window that ties in with government regulations and mandates and things like that. In 1965, they caught wind that, hold on, everything's going to change in the early 70s. And for those of you that were around or done your research, you know what I'm talking about. The emissions came in. Chrysler, like everyone else, they were totally caught off guard. They had to reinvent their whole product line. So this became disposable. But their intent was they didn't want, so they went ahead and destroyed 46 of them, kept on. They really intended for them to get in the hands of the museums at some point. They held on to them for a while, but they wanted them in museums thinking that a museum is going to put it there, leave it there. They're not going to tear into them and not get them on the street, not allow people to really figure out what's happening here. And if you were able to go inside, John Kerry, who was an engineer, an original engineer for the program, he worked with us and came and validated this automobile after we obtained it from the Hera Museum out in Reno, Nevada. And there was things that were top secret up there that he, even at that time, a few years ago, being retired, wouldn't share. But Chrysler, no one else in the world was doing this, and they were really targeting industrial, aircraft, anything with Turbine technology that could expand their business. And then this EPA thing came along, and boom, they were done. But Lee Iacocca and some of the people within Chrysler kept it going, and even today, your turbos and your turbocharged concept or the idea was proven in a way here because of power. They knew that if they could harness air and put it and find a way to transfer it into an engine, that it would give them power, but in a less, is more package. Right? So that's basically what they have. So I have Ty. Ty is going to ride shotgun with me. He's 23 years old. He's from the Iowa area. He's been coming to the show. And one of the things that Mr. and Mrs. Stahl encourages through me and through our collection is our purpose is to entertain, wow, engage, and educate. And I hope that when this is over, you walk away with this, with some knowledge. And for the younger folks, I can truly tell you that you're about to see something pretty special and pretty, something that few people have ever seen. And just remember, because you're going to have children and grandchildren. And there's collector cards after we're finished here. If you didn't get a collector card that was made just for today, I've got them over there. I'll be happy to give them to you. And Ty, if you want to walk around, I'm going to put you in shotgun, and we're gonna let this roll.
They're okay.
You guys might want to back a little bit. You guys are
These
fine.
are okay.
You're fine.
You're okay.
I would ask that you come in this. You would sit up there. Seat first. Just bring your feet in and don't press.
They're going to start
people over a 2-year period. There were 50 of them that were loaned. They accumulated 1 million miles. And one other cool thing, I had a young man, an older man that would have been a young man, about 12 years old. His family had one of these cars. The common destination when we found out that they were getting one of these automobiles was Disneyland. The Jetsons in the jet age was just starting, and it was exploding out there at Disneyland. So many of them immediately scheduled a vacation trip to go to Disney. A week before they were scheduled to go, their engine went bad. They had a hotline for these. You called Chrysler, you never touched them, and they called. In 3 days, they were out there with the new engine, replaced it. They did their vacation. Everything was a success. I'll finish with this before I start. It runs on jet fuel on our behalf. About 105 octane, low lead. It'll run on kerosene, moonshine, anything but unleaded fuel that will ignite, unleaded or ethanol. That came along after they had the technology developed with the 5 prototypes. They knew what they could put in these cars. They encouraged premium fuel. The gas was really good back in '63. So, and the other thing is, it's just a standard Chrysler 10-star key. It's gonna engage to about 1,000 degrees. Don't be concerned or alarmed. Okay. Back up just a little bit there. There's 2 reasons why I'm doing this. I explained it earlier. This car could lunge. Once I get it operational, my foot's on the brake, I've got everything registered in my mind when I go to Superman in here from Clark Kent now. I'll give you a thumbs up when you come close. But the second thing is, I need air. There's no coolant, no radiator in here. So I need that initial good burst of air to come into that grill area and run through here. Okay? Anybody, before I get in here,